Can we start with like social hierarchies in the town?
Okay.
Who's the alpha males and how does that
So
work?
they have the Hakaiki.
Who's that?
The Hakaiki is the mayor,
Right,
but before they were colonized, they also had Hakaiki,
right.
who's it's kind of
Like a chief.
it's like the chief. Yeah, it's a chief through family lineage, because they had that. They also had priests, and they had chiefs or heads from being warriors.
Okay.
Right. So now they just have chief through lineage and voting,
Right.
because they did vote for him, but they didn't have many choices.
Right.
Um,
So how many choices do they have?
I don't know, but I know they didn't have many because I've asked.
Because they're all through families. So only the head families can be put up for.
Well, it's not just that. I think they have to have the education for it
Right,
and qualify and be able to actually do the job.
right.
And then, but some people have told me they don't really like the mayor. They want a different mayor. But when
Right.
I ask them, well, who, they're not really sure, or they say there's someone else, but they don't like them either.
Right.
So
There's limited
they,
options.
yeah. But otherwise, heads would be like grandparents and senior people.
So do they have a lot of authority?
They do have more authority over them. They, I guess, it's hard to say. It's hard to say who's the head, but also someone with more money might have authority,
Right.
or they have more jobs. There's certain people who, if they're working, or they're the bosses of other people that work.
Is there a lot of like differentiation in the houses? Because all the houses look kind of similar. Apart from the old mayor's is like definitely really nice.
Yeah, there is. That has to do, I think. Well, the mayor does get paid well,
Right.
but also the current mayor and the former mayor were both worked in the school.
Right.
And school teachers get paid very well.
Right.
And the current mayor is also the director of the school.
Right.
So his house, he only just this last year recently built on it, so it does look a lot fancier.
Right.
So there's that. If they have the money for it, or they have a job. So the former mayor, his house is big, but he also was a school teacher for
Right.
a long time. So
And is clothing really important in terms of status or anything like that? Because I haven't seen a clothing
No.
shop. Where did they get their clothes from?
they buy clothes in Atuana,
Right.
or they get them. People send them from Tahiti.
Right.
Or if they have friends who work on the cargo ships, then they ask them.
Right.
But mostly their clothes.
Because everyone dresses very similarly.
They do, but also I think that's the environment. Like the men, they like their board shorts,
Yeah.
and it's easy because they can easily go in the ocean and come out without
Yeah,
changing their
yeah.
clothes. And sometimes with their sport clothes, if they're playing in a competition, they have an organization that buys like all the socks for them, so they all
right.
have the same pairs of socks and shoes for their competition.
Okay. What sports do they compete in?
They play handball, futsal, which is like football but indoors.
Right.
They play a little bit of outside football, and they play volleyball. And then in Atuana, they also have Tawa'a, the canoe race.
Right.
And I think there's they have surfing.
Right.
So here they surf, but they don't people from Vaitahu don't compete.
They don't compete.
No, because they're not organized enough to get out there and compete.
But they're good.
They're fairly good, I think.
Right.
But I think it's hard also because a lot of the men that might, be organized enough to get
Yeah.
out there and compete, they are also working, so they don't have
Right.
time to go surf all the time.
Right. There. And homosexuality and gender roles and statuses like that.
It's not totally accepted.
Right.
Or they have terms, obviously, for them that are not appropriate.
Yeah.
But some of them, a lot of times, are within the family, so they're kind of nice to them anyway. Like, I think they have conflicting feelings probably about that.
Right.
They're also missionized, so there's things from the church that I think have gotten into like their ideas about what to accept.
Yeah.
But it seems like they accept a homosexual woman more than a man.
Really?
Yeah. So there's certain people. The woman who works in the post office, she is a lesbian.
Right.
And she's a bit kind of tomboyish. But she's also friends with them, and they're a lot more like they drink with her, and
right.
they seem a lot more fine with it. But and I think, and some of the women that some of them, if they're a lesbian, like there's one I know, and she does work with the men more, because a lot of times the men, it will just be the men doing construction work. There is another woman who's not a lesbian that works with the men, but it's not that common.
Right.
Usually they're in the house more, or like the men, they go out hunting, but the women don't hunt, and they don't usually fish, or there's different fishing methods. So like the women they'll collect shellfish, and they'll fish like at the shoreline,
right.
but they don't go out in the boats.
So there's like very strong differentiation between men and women's roles.
Yeah, and the women, like if the men go out hunting and a woman goes out with them, usually she's going out just to like get the ride on the boat to like go collect fruit somewhere.
Right.
She's not actually going hunting.
Okay. And there's like gay men who are very, very feminine. They adopt like
they're feminine, and some of them identify as female.
Right.
And they spend more time with the women, and they do women's activities.
Yeah, we've seen that. They're not really they don't really hang out with the men, but they hang out a lot with the women.
Yeah.
Like I was just walking past the bingo, and they were like playing bingo.
Yeah, the women definitely, I think they're more accepting of it. Right. And also because usually that's still someone's child, so they still love their own child, or they get along all right. They play bingo, or they help clean the house and do like more women's duties, because usually women clean the house more.
Would you say it's quite like a misogynist society?
Not exactly. I think I wouldn't say that exactly, because they don't really seem like the women, it's not like the men are saying that the women have to be in the house and do those things. It's just that they're used to doing things that way. There is like, I think, some things that come from their Marquesan traditions.
Right.
Like before they've had things that's the tapu, so it's things that are forbidden, and like it can bring like bad spirits or bad energy to a person.
Like what?
Like bad spirits or bad things will happen. It's called tapu. T-A-P-U.
Yeah, but what kind of actions?
Okay, so like they don't have it now, but they used to have, if men start a fire or they gather wood for a fire, women cannot use that. Women are not allowed to touch the wood or touch the fire, because the man will get sick or he will go blind. And if they have it a little bit now, but I think they're just not so concerned, and it's a bit different, but with women's periods and the blood. So if a woman is menstruating, she's not supposed to touch her husband.
Right.
Or like they don't really so much have this now, but or he will get sick, right? So, and if he has fish or he's been fishing, she's not allowed to touch him, because he will not come back with fish, or something bad will happen. And there's things they do have it now a little bit, and I think it has to do with just maybe they came up with it because men are trying to control that and having that for themselves.
Yeah.
Is with fishing, women are not usually allowed to go fishing because it's taboo to go fishing. Or if women go fishing as, say, like trawling or out on the boat for big fish, they will not get fish because a woman's on the boat. Or the next couple of times a fisherman goes out, he'll get sick, or he won't get fish, or after he'll never get fish again. Things like that.
What would you say was like the biggest difference, like between an American and Marquesan, or like go through all the differences that you've experienced? We can start with food. You said you found that really difficult.
Okay, so yeah, there's some things because
They eat differently here as well. Like
they
it's
do
very
eat differently.
communal.
Oh yeah, so there's different in the house. Sometimes if there's food and you buy something, but the food is for everyone, even if they don't all contribute. So that's kind of hard for me when I have a brother-in-law who's not working and buying food, and he eats all the food that I bought for myself. So, or they have things like, it's a little bit of a culture thing, but they don't really say thank you as much. Like they might feel it, but they don't say, like if I make a cake and they eat it, they don't tell me thank you or, oh, this cake's really good, thanks for making this cake, right?
Right.
So that definitely bugs me. Or if I clean the house or clean something, they don't, like my mother-in-law won't say thank you for cleaning that, which I think is slightly accepted, but I did also ask her when I started living with her how to help her with things, because I know I need to do that, and sweeping the floors in the kitchen is one of those things.
Yeah.
They have a thing where the last person to eat at the table is the one who's supposed to clean off the table, even if they've all finished eating and I don't eat for like an hour, and between that table is dirty when I go to sit down.
Really?
Because I'm the last person to eat. Yeah.
Right.
But a little bit of that is just the way the person is, because I've eaten with other people or seen the cousins eat and they're a bit different, or they clean up after themselves even though I'm not finished. Or sometimes I think with the house I'm in, it's a bit different because I don't have sisters in the house. So I just have brother-in-laws, and they don't wait for me to finish eating all the time. Like we'll eat together, but traditionally, or sometimes if it's a special day, like if it's a holiday and they have like lots of food with cousins and everything, guests eat first, then children, then women, then men.
Right.
But in the house, sometimes it's different, which doesn't bother me too much, because I think if you're hungry, go and eat.
Yeah.
Hold on, can you pause?
Yeah, sure.